Nowadays, the Sigma label is a popular emblem that everyone wants to get. People dress to feel unique, but being a real Sigma is about genuine decisions and natural actions rather than referring to oneself as such or according to an online checklist. The problem with real Sigma qualities is that they are deeply rooted patterns that originate from a position of true independence and self-awareness. They are not roles you perform or postures you strike. Human behavior expert says, sums up exactly what you do. You talk so loudly that I can't hear you. And when it comes to identifying false stigma behavior-related activities. Before we get started, keep in mind that this isn't about shaming anyone. Rather, it's about understanding reality versus social media fiction. Because despite everyone's haste to claim the Sigma label, few people actually understand what it means. Let's look at 5 actions that demonstrate that you're not the Sigma you think you are, regardless of how much you try to convince yourself otherwise. Number 1. You secretly hate when others succeed. Have you ever wondered why success makes some people uncomfortable? These days, thousands of people claim the Sigma male designation because they are really offended when someone else does something amazing, not simply moderately envious. Thinking that a few unique characteristics make them unique, but nothing reveals their actual character more than how they respond to other people's success. Achievement is a reflection, and not everyone enjoys what they see. But for those who are pretending to be Sigmas, other people's accomplishments cause something uglier. A deep-seated jealousy that exposes their true selves. A true Sigma celebrates success in a different way. When someone accomplishes something noteworthy, he doesn't feel threatened. Instead, he sees it as evidence that progress is possible, as inspiration, as another piece of information in understanding human potential. But you feel something completely different. Pay attention to your internal reaction when a colleague gets promoted. Do you start citing reasons why they don't deserve it right away, or do you downplay their accomplishment? Analyze their approach, or look for weaknesses in their achievements. This response stems from a scarcity thinking, where you see success as a finite resource and assume that someone else's success implies you have less opportunities. A real Sigma recognizes that success is expanding. That is not a Sigma feature. Rather, it is insecurity disguised as critical psychology. The success of one individual does not negate the potential of another. Your envy exposes a deeper issue. When you're preoccupied counting other people's money, you're more interested in comparing yourself to others than in bettering yourself. A true Sigma is intent on garnering attention for himself. How you can't really thank somebody without using a subtle, dignified, nice job that ends up being your hallmark phrase. You may think you're being subtle, but your jealousy seeps into every well-crafted sentence. The most telling sign is that you spend more time analyzing other people's success than coming up with your own. Keep in mind that Sigma males don't compete. Instead, they create, compare, and improve. Your secret hatred of other people's success is the loudest confession that you're not the Sigma you claim to be. Number 2. You can't see past your ego. Let's put it this way. When someone criticizes you, do you immediately become defensive? Do you keep thinking about it for days? That's your ego talking, and it's a clear indication you're not as Sigma as you think. I'm always in awe of what the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote. We all love ourselves more than others, but we are more concerned with what other people think than with ourselves. Sigma males don't care what other people think. It's not that they disregard criticism, rather, they don't allow it to shake them. When someone points out their shortcomings, they can examine it objectively without letting their ego get in the way. They may ask themselves, is this true? Can I learn from this instead of how dare they say that about me? Here's a quick test to see how you respond when someone else succeeds. If you feel the need to minimize their successes or highlight your own, that's ego at action. A real Sigma enjoys others' victories without feeling intimidated. Real Sigma males don't need to prove themselves. They don't need to be the smartest person in the room, or they don't need to win every argument. If these things make you uncomfortable, you're probably letting your ego run the show. Can you admit when you're wrong? Can you learn from people you don't like? Can you let others have the spotlight? Their confidence is quiet because it comes from within, not from what other people think of them. Keep in mind that if you have to tell everyone how Sigma you are, you probably aren't number 3. Once said that at best we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. However, one of the biggest signs of a fake Sigma male is their constant need to fill every silence with their voice. Pay attention to group conversations. A winnable Sigma feels compelled to comment on everything, share their opinions on every topic, and make sure everyone knows how smart they are. They jump into discussions because they have no idea how to offer half-baked ideas just to be heard. Sigma guys talk when they have something worthwhile to say, rather than merely to hear their own voice because they recognize the power of selective communication. Psychologist identifies an intriguing trend. Those who speak a lot often feel uncertain about where they fit in the group and use words to establish their presence and demonstrate there. It's important to remember that this conduct is the antithesis of real Sigma qualities. Observe what happens during intense debates or disputes. False. Even when it's not their business, Sigma guys can't resist getting involved and will provide uninvited advice. Take sides in other people's disputes or divulge personal information only to be significant. They confuse being loud for being remarkable and sincere. Sigma males understand something that most people never do: that silence can be more effective than speech. They know that talking too much weakens their argument and dilutes their message, and that some ideas are better left unsaid. They have mastered the art of strategic silence, being aware of when to speak out and when to let their behavior speak for them. The need to express every idea, defend every stance, or interrupt every discussion exposes a deep-seated fear that truth Sigma guys don't possess. You act without thinking and then blame others because you believe you are a Sigma male because you follow your instincts and don't let others control your actions. You take pride in being spontaneous and not letting rules or conventions hold you back, but here's what you're missing. There is a huge difference between independent thinking and reckless behavior. While others compete to be heard, real Sigma males let their silence speak volumes. You act without hesitation in circumstances, and sometimes they turn out well, which confirms your perception that you're being Sigma. However, when things go wrong, your genuine nature comes out. Abruptly, your friend's failure to warn you and your boss's lack of clarity are both your responsibility, as is society's unfairness. Sonia, military strategist, penned, "The sage warrior stays out of the fight." Genuine Sigma guys are strategic rather than impetuous. They recognize that true independence comes from deliberate deliberation rather than rash decisions. They accept responsibility for their acts since they were their own. Consider your most recent blunders with awareness. Did you fully take responsibility for them, or did you try to assign blame? Did you consider the repercussions before acting, or did you simply jump in and hope for the best? A true Sigma's. The hardest pill to swallow is that Sigma sales don't need to defend their errors or find scapegoats. You might mistake your impulsivity for Sigma traits like not following the crowd or forging your own path, but the truth is that if you can't accept full responsibility for your actions, you're not displaying independence. Rather, you're displaying immaturity. True freedom entails accepting both their decisions and the results that follow. Number 5, you always talk too much and later regret it. You're very good at reading people. You keep your guard up around strangers and keep quiet around fake personalities, so you think you have excellent judgment and your Sigma radar is always on point. However, the moment someone seems to understand you or mirror your mindset, your filters drop. It seems like you've nailed the first part of being selective about who you open up to, but where you slip is what happens next. When someone breaks through the initial barrier and shows a glimmer of genuine understanding, you may assume they are entirely trustworthy. Suddenly, you're expressing your innermost thoughts, outlining your hopes for the future, and recounting your life's journey. However, a real Sigma man maintains several levels of trust that take months or even years to properly establish. The laws of human nature, according to author, warn that people's true nature is revealed in time rather than in words. But here you are letting all your guards down because someone gave you the right cues or said what you wanted to hear. Every private thought you share, every story you tell, every emotion you describe, all of these things come back to haunt you later. When you find yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations and wishing you could take back certain words because of what you said. You use a mantra to defend it as genuine or true with others who seem to understand you, but here's what you're missing. When you overshare, you're not simply giving away information, you're also avoiding crucial phases of trust building. Trust isn't built in a single discussion or even a few. Rather, it's shown over time by deeds rather than words. Every lengthy justification, every in-depth narrative, every poignant. While real Sigma guys may be cautious, they also understand how to share carefully and uphold their own limits. As shown by Revelation, you're still discovering how to strike a balance between openness and prudence. If you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content on Sigma males and other related topics. Don't forget to hit the like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, Stay strong and keep evolving.